RWBY Chibi episode 15. I think this week we got a pretty good couple of skits. Just like last week, I think, they've kind of found their balance now with just, 3 skits per episode. It seems like it really fits. So far, at least the past couple episodes have been about the same length as well, with like almost exactly like 4 minutes and 20 seconds and stuff. But really enjoyed this one. Once again, Sun and Neptune is still my favorite out of all the skits in the episode. But I really like what we got to see. I think we got to see, at least the first skit was a little bit different because we got to see a pairing that we haven't seen just yet. So we get to see Jean and Zwei on Yang's motorcycle, and it's like bad boy Jean and stuff like that. And it was a funny little thing, and Yang gets super pissed off, and she like just kicks over the fan, and then RWBY comes in and takes Zwei away, and Jean's just left alone. He's kind of just this solo bad boy, and it was just a funny, silly little ending, and I thought it was a cool beginning to the episode. Then we, of course, have my favorite skit with Sun and Neptune, and it was cool that it wasn't a junior detective one, because I was curious. I was like, how is this going to play out if it's not, a junior detective thing, but it still focused on those two. And this and the final skit really have me curious for what they have planned for the next volume, because I feel like they're going to be focusing a lot more on the less cool elements of Neptune and how he's not like, because everyone of course sees him as like the really cool guy, and the Chibi version of his character has all they've done is focus on the not so cool side of his character, with him being afraid of water and him not being able to dance. So it just makes me insanely curious. Like, it could mean nothing, but I feel like they're focusing so much on it that it's somehow going to have a big part in the next volume. I don't know, but it was really funny. Like, I love this one. Like, him being scared of the water, they have him go out with, like, I don't know how many umbrellas that was. It was almost a dozen umbrellas, if it wasn't a dozen umbrellas. And then when he was in the shower, I was curious. I was like, how's he going to do this? I thought they were going to have something really crazy where he'd basically be in, like, a full wetsuit, or like a hazmat suit or something. Like, he's technically not clean, but he does actually at least somewhat get clean. He washes his clothes, I guess, on his body, so that helps. And he still had the little arm inflatables, which I thought was hilarious. But my favorite was definitely the ending when he's just sitting at the lifeguard tower, and of course here comes Jean, and he slips, and he's drowning, and he's just splashing around and stuff. And I like the animation they had on Jean, because it was kind of cool to see the difference of one of the characters actually being like completely wet and stuff, and it just looked interesting because you could tell his hair looked a little bit different. And I was like, that's kind of cool. It's not he's just popping out of water. It actually looks like there's water on his hair. So that was something I thought was pretty cool from an animation standpoint, because I think this is really like the first time they've ever done anything like that. I don't think they've ever done rain outside of this episode, not that I can remember at least. So it was kind of cool to see that, and it actually has an effect on things in the world. But that was really funny. And Neptune's just up there, he's looking around, and he's like just whistling and stuff, and Sean is just splashing around like, I'm drowning. If anyone can help me, just right now, I'm sinking. I see the light and stuff, and then they have the little bubble pop up as Neptune kind of just slides his eyes over, and it's just like dead. And so he freaks out, and then Sun comes back like, thanks for covering for me. Which, when he said I had to get this just right, I was assuming he meant his hair, because he has the craziest hair in the series, so that made a lot of sense to me. But I love that one. It was just funny. Like, he's just looking over, and Jean's just splashing in the water, just dying, just trying to survive. Which I don't know if that's canon, but Jean can't swim. But it was really funny. That was my favorite one. And then the third skit, once again, it makes me wonder what they're going to be pushing in Volume 4. But they really, lately, especially the past couple of episodes, they've really been pushing Nora and Ren. So it just makes me wonder if that's what they're going to be doing in Volume 4. If they're going to make it where either they're together at the start of the volume, which would be really cool. That would be very interesting if they did that. Because there's clearly going to be a lot of stuff that they're going to... I would assume there's going to be some stuff where they do kind of the back and forth elements. Like, this is something really big that happened in between the volumes. So that could be one of the things where they officially end up together. And maybe they're kind of pushing that ship, because when we get Volume 4, it'll actually be there. So they're trying to adjust this for it or something. I could be wrong. It's just, I'm speculating. But they seem to be pushing it a lot more, in more recent weeks. So, don't know. Could mean something, could mean absolutely nothing, but it was just very interesting that they had yet another focus on Nora and Ren, possibly being in a relationship. And I'm very curious what in the world Nora bought. Like, I just don't understand. Like, I thought it was just going to be a simple little thing. And then, of course, Ren takes off and Pyrrha comes in. And it starts growling. Whatever this box is some sort of animal. And then, of course, Nora freaks out because she forgot to put the air holes in. And I love what they did when she jumps up and she like freezes in midair, but her legs are like still like twitching and stuff. She's like, oh my gosh, and her legs are just doing like this, and she's like, I forgot to put in the air holes. So definitely a funny ending to the episode as well. But really enjoyed this one. Like I said, of course, Sun and Neptune. It's, I don't know, maybe because it's just Neptune always being like made fun of, which is funny. Like he's coming in and Jean always has like the simple stuff, but Neptune is just like, they just flat is like he's a scaredy cat of water, or he's super sensitive and stuff, like the good cop bad cop thing. So it was really funny. Like I just really enjoyed that, and Neptune and Jean actually have a lot in common as far as being made fun of now, because yeah, at least the Chibi versions do. I mean, once it gets back to the main series, who knows? It might still be like super cool Neptune, but I don't know. It was really funny. I really enjoyed that, and the two of them together and Jean just splashing around in the water drowning was super funny to me. And just, because I was wondering, I was like, why in the world is he even a lifeguard if he's scared of water? That was the first thing I thought. I'm like, why is he even there if he knows he's scared of water? Like, that's not a, test your limits type of position. And then it was like, oh, he was just covering for a second for Sun, which still didn't make sense. That was dumb on Sun's part, to be totally honest. To let him take over if anything bad happens. It's like, oof. Nobody's getting help today. So, really love that. That was really funny. But, of course, I want to know what you guys thought about it. So, please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, least favorite parts. And, like I said, I feel like they've been pushing some interesting things. Ever since they've introduced Sun and Neptune, they've been doing a lot of, jokes on Neptune about him being scared of the water and stuff like that. And then they've been pushing a lot of the Nora and Ren stuff. So, I would love to know, if you guys think they're doing that because we will be getting some more stuff kind of like that, especially the Nora Ren thing. As far as Neptune and them kind of making fun of him, it could just be they're making fun of him now because they're going to do something more serious with him in Volume 4, maybe. Who knows? I mean, I highly doubt this, but maybe someone could actually die because he's afraid of water, something crazy like that. But I would love to know what you feel like they've been showing a lot that you feel like they might be preparing us for Volume 4. Because they've shown a couple of things. And I feel like number one has really been Nora and Ren, really, in their relationship. And then number two, even though it's only been the past couple weeks, it's probably been Neptune and his fear of water and just making fun of him. So that could be a bit of a stretch. But I think the Nora Ren thing is definitely possible, where it's like they keep pushing that because it's like, hey, this is going to be coming up in Volume 4 and we just don't know it yet. But definitely want to know what you guys think. If I'm just being a little crazy, kind of pushing, or kind of stretching, what we're seeing in the episodes, or if you think I kind of have a little bit of basis, because they didn't do that for a long time, and then it seems like now they're just kind of pushing it, like, here's Nora and Ren a lot, here's a bunch of hints towards this. And the Neptune thing, really, I mean, he is afraid of water, so that's super easy to pick on, so that could easily just be the fact that it's funny. But I feel like the Nora Ren thing might have some significance, but obviously it's all speculation. So, like I said, I want to know what you guys think about that, and of course, what you guys thought about the episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.